Well, look, there we are. You
Hey, what?
No, I thought
What?
you forgot to you moved your
No.
mouth and nothing came out, and I thought you had forgotten to unmute your mic. I was
No,
like,
you were just ready to yell at me for something.
no, let's not start that
Hey.
again, Tara.
Hey, welcome back to We're Making a Movie. I'm Tara,
I'm Natalie.
and we are making a movie, and this is a podcast about making a movie. All right, this week we are wrapping up the script section. I mean, in all honesty, let's face it, you were actually never done writing the script or working on the script because we are already trying to schedule in time to rewrite the script again.
Yeah,
It's not rewrite, but
tweaks.
tweaks. Go
Yeah.
back and like finesse and juice because we want to submit it to screenwriting competitions and film festivals to help get some momentum going for it. Before we get rolling, just want to mention that all of the super chats and the PayPals that we get are going to go directly to making this movie, now titled Turns Out It's the Apocalypse, we think,
We
is the
think.
full title. The full title. So
I
all your
want the
super chats.
acronym for that. Yeah.
Yeah. The longest acronym ever. So all your super chats, all your PayPals, all that stuff is all gonna go help make this move. We're gonna start putting it into a little bank account because we actually had conversations about starting a bank account for the movie. It was really kind of exciting. Like, oh, we're moving forward. So that's gonna start happening as well. So thank you in advance to all those people that do that for us. All right, let's start this episode.
I'm so not ready for this episode. Like,
Well,
let's just say that out loud.
yeah, let's just all be
I'm so
like,
overwhelmed in life, but
yeah, I mean, like
did you?
in all honesty, we are both. You're gearing up to go to like three festivals back to back. We're
Mm-hmm.
both going to a festival for work, which is there's a lot of pick up and carry for that. You're filming a lot of movies right now. You're in a bunch of films
I'm done with
acting,
that.
like you're
So
act.
that's
Oh, you're done.
awesome. Like that
Okay,
part's
so
done. So
so there's been a lot of work going on in our worlds, but I'm really glad to be doing this podcast because it forced me to sit down and do some research that we need to do anyways, which is kind of the secret reason why we started doing a podcast about this is
mm-hmm.
that we knew that doing this would hold ourselves accountable to research. So,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to kick it off with once you got your script, and there's a debate about what order you should do things
Mm-hmm.
in. You could do some things first and you could do some of the other things first, but one of the next things you need, like say you went the route we went, we wrote the whole movie out, then some of the next parts and pieces that you're going to need. All right, so one of those
You
is a
will
log
also
line.
need, yeah, a log line.
You will also need a log line. A log line. A while back, I wound up actually taking a class in decks and log lines and pitching, and in there learned what a log line is. Now I've since forgotten that information, but I remember falling in love with doing log lines because they're like this little puzzle that you put together, and there are parameters. In my research this last round, this is a sensitive topic for some reason. People are very hot buttony when it comes to talking about the log lines and the rules for the log lines and the way our log lines should be and all that. Like there's a lot of Reddit fighting about log lines, which I just think is rather silly. So in my research though, I found some great parameters, we're going to call them, because we don't like rules around here. So here's what a log line is. It's 1 to 2 sentences that sums up the entire movie. It's not a synopsis. It's more like the siren call, the promise that you're making of the adventure that this movie is. Um, it's going to be ideally, ideally is the wrong word. It's fun if you can get it into 25 to 30 words. People are always looking at like, well, is that 25 words? Which that was the fun part of the game for me was like, how can I get this down to 25 words? And I would sit there and count like I was writing a haiku, like how
Mm-hmm.
many words. And I heard this in my previous research on log lines that the best log lines involved a twist or a hook, and not just like, like I don't know how to explain this better, but like it's more like the thing that's the juxtaposition that makes it interesting. It's like the chef
Okay.
who's now afraid of knives, something like that, that makes
Mm-hmm.
it like, oh, that's I want to see how that plays out, and then everything else in the plot line can all fall to the side.
Is that kind of like the same as when people do, I mean, I know this is not the log line, but is it the same as when someone goes, it's Chucky meets Bridesmaids? Like that little
Yes,
piece that's like,
yes.
this is my hook. This is my, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, like, logline does not have to have that in order to be a good logline. There are many loglines that are great loglines that don't have that element to it. But for me, when I was messing around with loglines and really getting into like writing lots of loglines, finding that little piece was always like, that's the moment that it really got exciting for me. Um, a good logline tells enough of the story to convey a sense of the movie, and but it's succinct and quick that you don't lose someone's attention quickly. And another thing that I was advised to do a long time ago was to memorize your logline the way you could just spit it out really quickly, because if you're on like a red carpet, you're in a very important meeting or whatever, you're going to get nervous and you're going to bopple that logline. So if you
Mm-hmm.
memorize it like a line and be able to really just say it quickly, well, not quickly, but say it succinctly with, conviction, you're going to do better with that. A log line has a couple of elements. It's someone wants something and goes after it against great odds, uh, or against an obstacle. So it's the protagonist, the story, the antagonist, and the conflict.
Hmm. It'd be
Um,
fun to go and do log lines for old movies.
oh
Like, I'm
yes.
sure they already
Oh,
have them. I mean, log lines are not
they,
new, but like,
no.
it'd be fun game to play. Like,
Yeah, it is. And people do that. They were like, I found a whole amazing Reddit thread of people writing their own log lines for older movies. And then I found this really fun one. My favorite one that I found in this logline research was The Wizard of Oz. Transported to a surreal landscape, a young girl kills the first person she meets and then teams up with three strangers to kill again.
see, and that's the thing is your log line. I mean, you could totally lead people astray if you did your log line wrong.
Yeah,
Like that's a
yeah.
different movie. I mean, it's the
Oh,
same movie,
very.
but
It's the
that
same
is a
movie.
very different vibe, you know?
Yeah, it's so fun that like
Hmm.
the way you can turn the perspective of the movie or the tone of the movie by like the way you write the log line, the 25 words.
Hmm.
Another great one. I found a list of ones that I loved. A couple of my favorites were Nightmare on Elm Street. The monstrous spirit of a slain janitor seeks revenge by invading the dreams of teenagers whose parents were responsible for his untimely death. And that's got that juxtaposition, that interesting part where like it's the person responsible for the deaths,
Hmm.
their children.
See, now that for me though, like that gives away too much of your plot.
Yeah,
Like that, like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, we didn't find that part out until very deep in
very
the
in.
movie,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah.
know? That's like last scene with Jason. Like,
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you don't have to keep your thing a secret, but it is, I think, helpful too. I don't, it depends on what your objective is in that moment. Is like, is it okay to give it up if it's going to get someone to make your movie, kind of a
right. See,
thing?
I would
Yeah.
use that to get my movie made. I wouldn't use that
Yes.
as a tag or on my IMDb or,
No. Yeah. Exactly. Well, and that's a really important distinction to make. Is that sometimes your log line isn't going to be the same at different points in your development of your film. Like if you're trying to get it
Mhm.
made versus you're trying to get people to see it, there's a different way to go, and like that kind of dovetailed very nicely, Natalie, into the tagline. The difference between a tagline and a log line. Your log line is not a tagline. A tagline is a much shorter expression of the film that's more about evoking an emotion, not telling any bits of the plot. So like you'll see this confusion between what's a tagline and a log line, and then a log line and a synopsis. A synopsis is a much longer blow by blow of your entire story. You can get way more into details, not to be confused with the treatment, which is a whole different thing. But the log line is really just two sentences that still sums up the emotions of the film, that tells us the who, the what, the when, the where, the conflict, but isn't just like the quick tagline of like an emotional experience of the film.
So for me, I mean, you need the log line, obviously. Like the log line is what if you meet someone, they're going to be like, "Well, what's it about?" That's when you give them the log line. And if you've
Yes,
piqued their interest enough, you also give them the tag at the same time. If
there you
they
go.
seem interested by the time you're finished with those first two sentences, then you give them the tag, and that should be the hook. Like that, like
Yeah,
really gets them. It's such. I mean, that's where you go with it's such and such in the apocalypse, or it's
yeah,
it's you tell them two friends went on an adventure and they fell into a cavern and have to get back home. Okay.
yeah.
And then you're like, it's a buddy comedy in the woods. And you're like, oh,
Mhm.
like those are not good taglines or
Right.
or
Well,
but
again,
that's how you get the person to like then ask for your synopsis. I'd like to hear more.
yeah. Well, and again, this comes down to know the room because you have a log line that you use that is rehearsed and well done. It isn't necessarily the one that you would write down, but it's definitely
Right.
the one that you would give to somebody when you're meeting them at a festival and you're just,
Well, so yeah,
swapping
I think that's a
notes.
good thing. I think tell the audience what the log line is that you've come up with. It's just basically
Okay.
our log line that we write down on things when people ask us for our log line.
Yeah, like, and this is not necessarily something I would say in a casual conversation or even an interview because it is a little stiff. But lifelong friends Amanda and Karen managed to survive the apocalypse, but can they survive each other?
hmm So
That's our log line.
that's what you would write down when because a lot of these things that you're going to submit to will ask you for your log line. Like,
Yes.
so this is your hey, read my script, or hey, read my treatment, so that you will then read my script. Um, I have one that I use as my log line because I've been in a lot more rooms. We're doing pitches with
Yes.
people, not trying to like actually sell it, but just at film festivals. People always go, "What's your film about?" And mine is now I have to like think about it because I had it written down, but I lost that card. It's lifelong lifelong friends. No, it's not lifelong. I don't say lifelong. I said two best friends thinking it's the apocalypse lock themselves in a bunker. Flash forward 2 months later, and they're at each other's throat. And then I always follow it up with, it's the odd couple in the apocalypse, and that has gotten so many people going, wait, what? Wait,
Yeah.
what? But writing that down is more conversational. It's less. It's
Yes.
not as structured, and it definitely doesn't fit the rules.
Yeah, exactly. I think that your log line that you deliver is so much more conversational, so much easier to make feel organic and off the cuff. Whereas the one that we've written, although I love it, and a lot of
hmm
log lines I've written in an interview, and I've done this before on the red carpet for other movies, in an interview, it comes out really stiff. But on the
hmm
page, it's great.
It's perfect.
But
Yeah.
when you're delivering it, yours is much more conversational, much more real, way better at grabbing someone's attention and feeling
Well,
less like they're pitched to.
mine was written with that specifically in
Yeah.
mind. Like I knew I was pitching this thing. I was going to a pitch. I was at a festival and they were having a pitch. It wasn't a competition. It was just a round. Like you went from circle to circle and pitched your movie,
Hmm.
um, and I was terrified of it. But I had to write that down. I knew I was going to be delivering this, and then I got to say it like 17 times that day, and so this became like this very formula thing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it doesn't write down as well. Once you write it down, you try to read it. You're like, that's not a real sentence. Uh,
But
are
it
you sure
works.
you're a writer?
But it works really, really well when you're doing the pitching thing. Um,
hmm
Also, I'm doing research for this. We pulled up our one of our producers' taglines for the movie, and this is the difference between a tagline and a log line. I love her tagline: "Surviving the end of the world is hard. Surviving each other is harder." And that's a
hmm
great tagline. Not a great that doesn't tell you enough to be a log
No,
line. Definitely not enough to be a
no, you put that
synopsis.
on the poster.
Yeah, that's on the poster.
hmm
That's that it's evoking the emotion of oh, and it's intriguing, but it's not telling me enough to really be a good log line. So there was a lot of fun delving into the world of log lines. If you're interested in log line writing, there's a bunch of articles to read about it. Studio Binder and Save the Cat have got some of the best articles about it. There's
Yeah.
also Industrial Scripts has 105 of the most famous actual log line examples, like real
Oh, that's
log lines
fun.
that were used for the things, which I love reading other people's things. And the best part about the 105, the Industrial Scripts website's logline thing, a lot of them are kind of boring, but they're movies that you love that got made. Like, I'm sorry, Titanic's logline was really kind of, compared to some other ones, was a little flat. It was like two teenagers fall in love on the Titanic. Like, oh, I see, yeah, they're falling in love and then they're, gonna sink, but it was just not that exciting.
Well,
And it made me
some
feel
of that,
better.
no, and some of that's probably like as you look at the process of we're diving into development next. And it's such a muddy, muddy world because people come at this from so many different directions. And one of those directions is that you decide you want to make a movie and you then hire writers to then write the movie. So you start off
Hmm.
with your log line and then you say, hey, please write this
Yeah,
story. And you're like, and that's enough of a, oh, you're not leading them in any way either. You're just like, oh, okay, I
yeah,
can write that. Teenagers
yeah.
falling in love on the Titanic. Okay, I'm in, like.
Exactly. Like I had an
So
entire
it's very
doc of
different.
just, yeah, exactly. I had an entire doc that was just log lines for rom-coms. It was like probably like 25 to 30 log lines for rom-coms. None of them
Mhm.
had an outline, none of them had a treatment. None had anything except for two character names and maybe a poster idea. And they were intended to sell the log line, to sell the writing of the script, the possibility of a
Yeah.
storyline. So sometimes you can start with a log line, and I think a lot of times with the big boys, that's how that's done. But on our
Well, actually,
level, what we're
yeah.
doing,
In my research, I was noticing that um, if you are a professional writer and you're selling yourself as a professional writer, you have a binder full of log lines and synopsis. You don't necessarily get all the way to treatment yet, but you've got those two things. You don't even have the script yet. These are the things. I have this
hmm
idea. I've got the synopsis. I will do the whole thing later on.
hmm
Yeah.
and that's a very different world than the world that you and I are currently playing in. I do think it's something that you and I could someday in the future, because you and I have a million ideas. We'll just write the log lines for a bunch of things. Go, here, you make this. You and I always talk about like, oh, I
Yeah.
love this idea, but I don't want to make it.
Yeah.
Or like
Well,
this film
yeah,
is
and that's different too.
totally different, but that's a different pursuit, and that is not necessarily what we're doing here. So we will not delve
Mm-mm.
further into that.
No.
Some other things that you do need if you're going that direction, and these are things that you do need for like script competitions and film festivals and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Some other parts
Hmm.
and pieces. I saw you.
And
You've got this.
yeah, I've got this. And you're going to need these once you have it. Well, you're going to need the synopsis for sure. And the synopsis is the exact definition that I have here is it's a concise summary of the movie's plot, typically 1 page long, that outlines the main characters, the setting, and the major events. So now you're talking. It's really kind of what you would tell a friend after you've watched a movie. I've,
Yeah.
I've looked at it and I'm like, when you go and you talk about you just saw The Wizard of Oz, and you're like, so this girl, she gets caught up in a tornado. She gets transported to this magical world, and she gets now the witch wants her. The witch wants her, but she's got to get back home. So she goes and she meets a scarecrow, and then she goes and she meets and this whole way the witch is trying to kill her. And so you're telling that basically that's your synopsis, and it doesn't have to be any more. It shouldn't be any more complicated than that. I mean, maybe don't say and like in it as much as I would, but now the treatment though. The treatment is one of those that you don't necessarily need until you need it, and then you'll wish
Yep.
you had it. And
Yep.
the treatment is a detailed descriptive narrative of a film story, typically more extensive than a synopsis or an outline. It's a roadmap to the film. It conveys tone, it contains theme, potential visual styles. It's getting potential producers to read a treatment is easier than a full script, and so it's it's a someone likes your synopsis, but you don't have time to like write the entire film out yet, but you want them to read it. Like, you're gonna send them a treatment, and it's potentially going to be, 20 pages. It is detailed. It is this happens and then this happens. Like, the only thing it doesn't contain is dialogue. Really, you have basically written all your action out, and you told the story in a novel form, in the form
Mhm.
of a novel. Studio Binder, and we're just going to keep referencing Studio Binder because they
Studio
have so much
binder.
information out there.
Yes, they do.
Studio Binder has a few treatment examples on there that are kind of interesting. There's three. Well, I'll link to this in the description of our YouTube video. Um, they have ET2, which didn't get made, and part of that is like the reason they're showing that is this is a good example of why a movie shouldn't get made. Like, here you did the treatment, and once you read the treatment, you're like, yeah, no, it's not going to be good.
Oh.
He was asked to write a treatment for it, and he went, all right, here's what it would be. And they're like, yeah, pass. They also had the treatment for The Shining. And this was an early treatment for Kubrick. Like, so it was
Okay.
not, and what he was showing was how different it was going to be from the book, but it's written from a very amateur stance. Like, this is not, this is a first treatment. This is I've never written a treatment before. Here's this movie I want to make. Would you fund this? You know? And then the other one they have on there is Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and that is by someone who has written a bazillion treatments. And so you can look at each one of those and see like the progress. And not that Et wasn't by someone who knew what they were doing, but it was also like, this is me fleshing this idea out to its fullest extent, and it's not going to be good. Let's just not. But I thought
Let's
that was
just
pretty
let me show
interesting.
you why not this should not be
Yeah.
done.
I
This
mean, I'll
treatment.
do the homework that you asked me to do, but this is me
Yeah.
basically pitching you on not making that movie.
Oh, that's funny. I love that. Like we're all very glad that it didn't work out then, because that does seem like a very bad idea.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing that we're going to touch on more, like in this process, you start to want and need a deck. And we're going to touch on that so much later. Like decks are an ongoing process and a thing that's going to come up. You'll need decks for different reasons. And we promise we'll get there, but today is not that
So,
day.
just so you know, a deck, in case you don't have any idea what that is, it's a visual guide to your film. So it includes it's got a page for each of these items. It's got your mood board, your what is, and
Hmm.
all that is to pitch potential investors, potential collaborators on your film. But we will dive into all of that at a later date.
So much, so much.
Hmm.
All right, and then so once you've got your script, and this is kind of where we're starting to get step in pace with where we are in real life. You may have the call, the feel, the want to submit your script to script competitions, to film festivals. Natalie, for those who cannot see here, is banging her head against her microphone,
But I was faking it, so I wasn't really making
faking it
noise.
so that it wasn't heard in the audio, so she doesn't have to work hard later. No, like is and now you're going to start seeing us a little more in real time, having real emotions and feelings about things, because we definitely are walking into like oh, this is overwhelming.
Yeah,
This is a lot. Is this what
it
we want to
is.
do? And why do this?
Okay, yeah. So,
Yes.
so
Yes.
we've never submitted scripts before. That's not true.
No.
Not never, never, but mostly never. I'm gonna go with mostly never.
Mostly never.
Um, Mostly we submit finished products to festivals and go to
Yes.
festivals to to be recognized for your finished product.
Yes.
We have decided to start submitting this script to festivals and screenwriting competitions. And the first thing you have to ask yourself is why. Like,
Hmm.
what is your goal? I think with all film festivals, what is your goal? When we did our first film festival, we our goal was laurels. We were trying to
Yeah.
slap some laurels on that bad boy,
Hmm.
let people think that it's worth watching.
Yeah, and also I
We're,
think our goal was learn film festival world,
yeah.
which I think we succeeded. But yes, our goals were broad.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of back there. So,
Yeah, we are back there. We
so,
are.
so now we're at like submitting this script to festivals, and while I'm going to break it into two different things. There's festivals and there's screenwriting competitions. We'll talk about festivals first. So, submitting to festivals, it's a good way to network, meet people. Maybe you'll find someone who is interested in helping you make the film. Probably not. There are ones that have uh, prizes that are cash prizes and will help you make your film. There's a lot more of those actually for short films. So, if you have a short film and want to get it made, that's an actual like possible way to do it.
Hmm.
Um, and then there's then there's just getting the laurel on it. And I think that's kind of where we're at with like, hey, you were accepted into this festival. You were a finalist, you were the runner up, you were the whatever. And then people, when you're pitching your film to get it made and try to get investors, they go, well, it must be a worthwhile film. People like the script, that momentum behind it is pretty strong. I'm going to share this doc right now. You won't be able to see it on the. Let's see if I can do it though, because this is remove. This is add a stage. Let's go here. Okay. So yeah, thank you. some of you won't be able to see this, but I've got a document up here that is Tara and I's spreadsheet for submitting festivals. This is ours for this script specifically. This is the way we organize it. There's a column with the films, and then there's columns with the dates that they're due. That every film has all these different deadlines. I put the links to the festival itself in there, and then the price points, and then you go through, and then there's a place for notes, and you will see like this one has a pitch competition as well, and this one has a grand prize of such and such, and la 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 la. Um, that mostly what's going to happen there is we're going to decide that we're not submitting to all those festivals.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like, that's a spreadsheet for me to gather all the information. For in this case, it was me. This isn't always my part of the load. Gather all that information together and then make decisions based on what's realistic.
Yes.
We're not going to win that competition. Like, so yeah, there's a 25,000 grand prize for this film. We're not going to win that. Like,
Yeah, that's super cool and awesome, but like this script isn't we're as proud as this script as we are, and as much as we think this is a very good movie, we're not super great John Lawson writers. Like we're just or
we're
John Logan writers. We're just
we're
trying to
writing an
convey an
indie
idea.
comedy. We're not writing
Yeah. No.
Schindler's List.
Exactly.
And so, and we know that going into with the films we write too. Anyway,
Yeah.
so that's film festivals, and those ones have actual festivals you can attend. You get table reads out of them. Often they'll have put together script table reads, and you get to like workshop and some of them will give feedback. I actually don't. A lot of them charge you $20 more for the feedback. I don't want your feedback. So I don't pay you for your feedback at this phase.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the other side of that is script writing competitions. And this is where the big money prizes actually are. But this is also where the big boys are. Like this
hmm
isn't people, it's more writers than it is filmmakers, I believe,
Yeah.
in this situation. The other ones are filmmakers. They're like people who like film and who decided to also put together a script competition to get more entry fee money. I don't know what their motivations
Yeah.
are. Um, but the other side is the big boys, and those are coming down through Final Draft and
hmm
Scriptation and all these other companies, and there's no actual event to go to. Slamdance is partnered with Austin. No, there's a couple of them that are partnered with bigger festivals that's where
hmm
their award ceremony is and stuff. Um, Studio Binder again has a good reference to like look at their 13 that they recommend you look at. Black Cat. But again, I mean these we're looking at $65 a pop for entry fee is like your
Expensive.
average.
Yeah.
It's never
Expensive.
below that.
Yeah, and like Natalie was saying, these are the big boys. Like for what we're doing, what we're endeavoring to do, as proud as we are of being writers, these are folks that are like true blue. They are writers. The first word they put on their resume is
Hmm.
screenwriter. They went to
Right.
school to be a screenwriter. This is, like endeavoring to go up in competition against them. Like it's still worth it in cases where you could get those first round. What's it called? I'm sorry. The word is
Semifinalist. Is that
semifinalists,
what
getting those
yeah.
semifinalists, like Natalie and I are like, oh, we feel very strongly we could make the semifinalists part of this game if they have that
Hmm.
rung. But when it's like the big boys, true competition, and like there's only one prize at the end, and that's all you ever hear about it. Like for us, it's like, it's not really the objective we're going for. We're not trying to prove
Hmm.
ourselves as writers. We're just trying to help get this movie made.
Right. So yeah, Page International or whatever it's called. Look, I learned this yesterday while I was bogged down with 400 other things.
Yeah.
We entered yesterday. We entered the
Yes,
competition.
we entered. Excellent.
It cost $79.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is one like it's a 25,000 grand. I don't remember if that's the one, but it is a big grand prize.
Very
I
cool.
don't expect to get my $79 back. Like,
No.
but if we can get to at least a semifinalist in that
hmm
one and be able to say that,
Yeah.
it's a step in the right
That's our
direction for
objective.
us, I
Yeah.
suppose. I don't
And I
know.
think what, yeah.
We're just,
Well, I think
we don't know what
in
we're
our,
doing, guys.
yeah, we don't. And I think like in conversation with our team, our production team, the objective is to just start getting some heat on the project. Just get people aware of it. Just have things to talk about, be able to post about it on the internet, like just to
Yeah.
help get the ball rolling forward as we start to seek out funding and stuff. So like
Yeah.
we're not trying to win, and we're not necessarily trying to get, one specific entity to, we're not trying to get Apple to come in and make our movie. We're just trying to get enough movement on the project that it helps us create social value on the project so that other people want to sign on in all levels. That's crew, that's
Yeah.
money, that's investors, that's everything. Like we just want to show that we have something worthwhile and you want to be a part of it. And so this is part of what our objective is with the film festivals and the script competitions for us.
And
Very
it's
different.
crazy. Like I looked at this number. Now we were that spreadsheet. Yes, does someone asked if it will be linked? A maybe a cleaned up version of that will be linked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a good tool for people to have. But even looking at the price points on that, like say we did every single one of them, which we are not doing every single one of them by any means. Like I'm funding a short film by the end of that. Like I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. It
I
gets very
it's
expensive.
it's expensive. And the same thing's true of submitting your film at the end because this is just what
Yeah.
we're submitting the script to. Once this bad boy's done, you do a year of film submissions, and that's a whole other conversation.
Oh
But
yeah, yeah.
it's also speaking of other conversations. In this, I started to dive into Coverfly and Blacklist, and
hmm
oh my goodness, if you can't see me, I'm holding my head in my hands. Um, it's it's its own topic, and it's much more
Yeah.
for people who want to be screenwriters, less for people who are just trying to make their own film, unless what
hmm
your real goal is to try to get one of the big boys to come in and buy it and produce it, and you want to walk away from it. Because,
Right.
but that's not where we're at. I mean, if someone
No,
wanted to buy our
that's
script, I'll walk
no, we
away.
would not. We would not say no, but we definitely like it's not the fantasy for us for Paramount to come in and buy our script and make our movie. Like we just
Because
that
they're not
is
going to
we
make it with us in it.
there well, that's the one thing
Tara will
that's
be
and it just
Tara will be played by ScarJo.
right, yes,
Um,
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, so that's not really the goal for us. And so that goal, that very typical like getting the studios to make it isn't really a part of what we want anyway. So it guides every choice that we make. So
mhm.
we are trying to make it ourselves. And I saw something really interesting, and I forget who and what this was, but like that maybe that's great if Paramount were to step in and want to make our movie. Cool. I would not say no. However, you lose all control of the thing that you
Yeah.
made into the world, and maybe that's not what you want. And I think on this one, like this is so near and dear to us. We've worked for so long on it. I'd rather maintain a lot of as much creative control as I possibly can on this one because I care about it
Mhm.
so much. There are many other ideas that you and I have had. Please give us a call, Paramount. There are
Oh
many
yeah,
that I don't
there's
care about. That I'm like, here, take it, do whatever you want with it.
yeah, there's a ton of them that I put out into the universe all the time. Just like, hey, if someone else
Yeah,
wants to make it, that's fantastic.
do
Although I
anything.
will say, if Paramount wanted to pay me for this, and it
Yeah.
meant that I now had the clout to say that
hmm
I had a film that was bought by
Yeah.
Paramount, and that I could make my next one, I would take that sacrifice. Actually,
Oh yeah, I
also
would
I'm
take it.
broke, so
No, we would
there's that.
100%. If someone came knocking on our door and is like, "We're gonna make your movie for us. We are gonna take all the rights from you." Blah blah blah. I think you and I unanimously agree that if that just happened to happen, we'd go, "Yeah, sure, whatever." But we're not seeking it out. And since we're not seeking it out, because I also think it's impossible, uh, because they're just doing remakes instead of original content at this
Oh
point.
my gosh.
Since we're not seeking it out, that not seeking it out guides every step of the thing that we do. And since that's not the objective, getting on the blacklist isn't as big of a deal to us. Like, that's cool. I would be honored. But
Right.
however, is it worth
I
the
will
money
say,
to submit?
I will say, and this is like a ongoing through line. I think figuring out what your objective for every step of what you're doing in the filmmaking
hmm
process is very important. So whether
Yeah.
it's submitting your script, whether it's submitting your to festivals, whether it's when crewing up, when finishing your treatment, when writing your deck, what is the objective that you are
hmm
going for, and what do you want people to walk away with is so important to define that. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you'll miss your mark.
And it's amazing how often people don't think about that part. Like every time I do a film festival consultation with somebody,
Hmm.
that's the first thing I always ask. Like, I'm going to ask you this question, and there is no wrong answer. What is your objective for film festivals? Like, what is it you
Yeah.
want? And you can tell me anything, but that's going to guide every choice you make. And that's true.
Mm-hmm.
You get to put that at every step of everything that you do. What is your objective here? And that's going to keep you from making choices that aren't worth it. Kind of learned that this is a really weird sidebar. Kind of learned that in the wedding process. Like when I was planning my wedding,
Mm-hmm.
it was, is this thing that I'm looking at, this new hot photo booth thing, in theme with the wedding that I'm doing? No,
Yeah.
then we're not doing it. And it saved me so much money not getting sucked into all the like the current goofy wedding trends that are going around. What is your objective? To
Yeah.
get married. Get done.
Get this part
Yes.
over with.
Speaking of get this part over with, Natalie, you're killing it with the segues, the action here.
Mhm.
So we learned a ton in the
Did
the
we?
scripts portion. I think so. I feel
I
like
don't know if I
maybe
retained anything.
maybe not. Maybe you have to go watch your own podcast to like, or listen to your own podcast to make sure you learn the things that you talked about. But I feel like in the process, in some ways I've gotten more confident in what we're doing because our objectives are getting clearer, like for what we're doing. Like I am not concerned about script competitions as much because like right, that's not our objective. In the writing portion of it, although, you know, we still have LYs and INGs, hey, I now know this piece of information that I did not know before, or even going back and going, what is a treatment? Because I didn't
Yeah.
know. Like we had a, so it was a festival or something we wanted to submit it to. I
It was a script
forget.
writing competition actually, and they
That's
wanted
right.
a treatment, and we were trying to go backwards and make a treatment, and it was just, and we were filming a short film, and like it
Right
was
at the
way
same time.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Luckily for us, as we sat down to make the treatment, we realized that we had put down the date wrong for when we were supposed to have this done by, and we had missed the deadline. So then we
Yeah.
didn't have to do that. It was,
We didn't have to do it.
fate intervened.
Fate just said don't do that and we said sure.
And we did
Sounds
it.
good. We're cool. But it did bring up the treatment and we go, well, like great, we'll write a treatment. Well, what exactly is a treatment? And now we know. We haven't written one yet, but now we
No,
know what it is. And maybe, we next time we write
no.
something together, we go treat around.
Yeah,
Who knows?
I think we'll definitely do a synopsis though.
Yeah.
That part
Mm-hmm.
that part in the building the world process,
Yeah.
I think we'll definitely take
Or an
on.
outline. Yeah.
Well, same
Yeah.
samesies.
Same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, outline I think it's just has bullet points and that's the only difference. Outlines are
Hmm.
very fun. I like writing outlines because you kind
I
of
was
figure
gonna say,
out
as
the
soon as
plot.
you said bullet points, I knew you were in.
Yeah, I
Tara
love it.
loves her bullet points.
I love a bullet point and I love a spreadsheet. I like things to be like organized so my brain can see it. If I see a giant
Mhm.
paragraph, I'm like, yeah, I can't see that. I can't. My brain can't even take that information, and I'm gonna have to sit down and slowly read this. So, but
Mhm.
yeah, I feel like as far and it, not to get all mushy, I'm really glad we started doing this podcast period because we've been forced into doing research that has taught me things. I've used you, fair audience of ours, to force myself to do some research, to relearn things like log lines and learn new things. And although I probably can't give you a dissertation on what I've learned or a TED talk, I do think it's in
Mhm.
there. Like I feel a little more competent than I did 9 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, 9 weeks ago, something like that. We're on episode 8. I definitely feel like we're
Yeah.
getting somewhere. Um, yeah, all right. So I think that about does it for us. I think we covered all of our wrapping up this section. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things that we'll end up like coming back to. I've seen it in the
Oh, for
comments.
sure.
Storyboards is in the future. I think you got to have your director on board and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's storyboards is much more a visual for the director and the
Mm-hmm.
DP, I think. But so we'll definitely cover storyboards in the future. We're going to cover the deck in the future. These are all part of the development stage of the film,
Mm-hmm.
which didn't even know development was a thing. I thought it was pre-production. It's pre
Yeah.
production. You're in development.
Pre.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I thought we were in pre-production. We're in development, guys. Jeez
Just in
Louise.
structuring this show, this podcast for ourselves, we've learned more about like, oh, development. Well, where does that fall? And we're putting structuring the arc of the podcast has helped us structure the arc of making something like, oh,
Right.
okay, we're going to do that next. So we're going to be delving into the development section of life coming up very soon. But before we do that,
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we do that, next week we are going to have our very first wild card episode.
Hmm.
Wild card episodes, I think, are going to be my personal favorite because we're going to go off of that arc we were talking about of making the movie and talk about some other things that are related, but not quite, but are. Next week, we are at the Julian Dubuque International Film Festival. We are going as what you said a really good word for what we are, and I keep saying we're working for the festival, but you had not
Oh.
oh, you had said something and it was
Oh, I
so
don't
good.
know. Well,
Yo, you were
someone
brilliant.
once called us ambassadors and then
Okay.
liaisons. I don't cheerleaders. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. We'll have it for you
Yeah.
next week. It'll be on a
Yeah.
card.
You're right. You had said in passing, you just like threw it out there as a term for what we were for the festival. And I
Hmm.
was like, that's it. That's what we do. Because we go to
Yeah.
these film festivals, we do things like we do Q&As after the movies. We do interviews that we put up on Instagram, on YouTube. We sometimes host parties. We've hosted award shows. We've done a lot of things that are film festival related, and we don't even have a film at the festival anymore. We've gotten to this place now where we go to festivals as personalities and we help
Hmm.
make the party a party. It's one of
Yeah.
my favorite things to do. It's festivals that we truly love too. Like Julian Dubuque will always be near and dear to my heart. It was the very first big festival you and I ever went to, and it spoiled us rotten
Oh,
because we
yeah.
thought, oh, this is what film festivals are like. Like
Hmm.
it's an amazing festival. So we're going to be coming to you live next week, the Julian Dubuque Film Festival for our wild card episode. And as of right now, I think that you and I have landed on, we really want to talk about marketing at a film festival because that is something that we do very, very well.
That is
I,
one I
I would
could do a
say
TED talk on.
Natalie is a marketing genius. I am a yes-ander like a pro. Like I yes and this and
Well,
to an
actually, the
inch of her
best.
life.
Yes, and yes, and yes.
Yes.
But also, like, it's Tara is such a good like ride and die with this, where I come up with like this stupid idea, and then she's like, "Yeah, let's do it," and
Let's do that.
that's how it all happened.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, when it just
that's how the first
escalates
one.
and escalates and escalates, it's so much fun. Like coming up with the gimmick for the film that we're making usually comes around the second step for us. So I don't know what anyone else's movie making arcs are. Our is name of the movie, marketing gimmick for
Maybe,
the movie,
yeah, maybe
and then we write a
logline,
script. Yeah,
and then we.
maybe logline happens somewhere in there, and then we write the script. Marketing is always very
Uh,
quickly for us. So that's going to be
yeah.
our episode next week. We're going to talk about marketing. So I think we have a lot of really good information to share. Now that
Hmm.
could change because we may bump into somebody we want to interview that we think would make a good interview or something like that. So you'll find out when we find out, basically.
But we will be
Um,
coming at you live from the filmmakers lounge, so it'll be an interesting sound and
oh,
all of that. So.
Oh, it's going to be a new adventure. Our first
Hmm.
on location, just when we finally get down the mechanics of a podcast like this. Now, this is how we always
Hmm.
do it. Now let's throw a new monkey wrench into the system. All right. And that I think that brings us to my very favorite part of our episodes, which is always the Abby Singer shot. I love this
I
part. It's my favorite.
yes, the Abby Singer shot, which is where I bring you vocabulary from Studio Binder that you could just go and read yourself if you wanted to. But instead, I picked out the word of the day.
Yay!
This is an interesting one. This one does have to do with script writing, and it's not
Ooh.
like that strange of an idea or anything. I just had never heard it put this way. Favor on. So favor, like a party favor, on. And it means to highlight or give prominence to a specific character or object in a shot. A visual
Oh.
cue that directs the viewer's attention by a particular element. So this can be focus, this could be framing, but it's something you write in the script. So it's very use it very sparsely. But like the example here is John lies in a hospital bed. Favor on, all caps, his sleeping face. So it's what as and I'm sure we could use it in some place. I'm sure there's parts
Oh.
of our script that we would have gone favor on. Now, again, it says use sparingly. Like this is you
Yeah.
don't this is only if it's really important that you show his twitching eye. And you
Mhm.
can't say that in the script that way, you know? And so I think this would
Right.
probably pertain more to director writers, you
Okay.
know, like I
Okay.
bet
Yeah, yeah.
what's his face probably uses it, Edgar Wright, you know,
Oh,
like he's, you
probably.
know,
Oh, yeah.
but for us, I think there's probably a few places we could have used that favor on. Um,
Mhm.
there was that's again this from Studio Binder. There's a couple actually. This one wasn't there wasn't very much information on this one on Studio Binder. I fell in love with it, and then I had to do my research because I was like, wait, what does that? I still don't understand what it means because they weren't
Yeah.
getting across that it's in the script. That it's not
Oh,
something. I thought maybe it was like a director's note, like while they're filming, he's like, oh, favor on his eyes.
right.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
no,
That's
no,
where my mind would have gone to
no,
too. I'm
no.
glad that you
It's in
clarified
the
because I
script.
didn't
Yeah,
know. Yeah, I didn't know that was like an option. Like it's
yeah,
okay. I'm allowed. I'm gonna do whatever I want. I'm
yeah.
allowed to do this thing. That's really cool. Favron, good to know. I will
Yeah, but
log
only
that
if
in
it's
my brain.
really important. Yeah. I
Use
did want to say
sparingly.
before we move
Yeah.
on, I'm going to Desertscape International Film Festival as soon as we're done with this. We wrap up, where our script did win runner up, first runner up. We didn't win the whole shebang, but we did win first runner up. When we are in Julian Dubuque International Film Festival next week, I do have a film there that's Obit that I acted in that's screening there. And then the next week, we're at another film festival, Kanab International Film Festival, where our newest short is playing. So we are shaking and baking, guys.
Yeah, it's all happening at once, as it always does.
Mm-hmm.
And then we realize that nothing's gonna happen, and then we go crazy making up a whole bunch of new stuff to do. That's just how we roll. We
Mm-hmm.
like to keep
Yep.
busy. All right. If you are listening to this podcast and you did not subscribe, please subscribe. It means so much to us that you subscribe to this podcast. We're trying to get the word out there. Share this with your filmmaker friends too. I'm starting to see some really good like conversations happening on the socials about the podcast. It's really fun. So the more filmmakers we have to talk to, the more fun this is. So don't forget to subscribe, find this podcast wherever you find podcasts. This is a podcast. All right. Okay. I think that's gonna wrap us up for the day. Thank you so much for joining us. We adore you all, and we will see you next week live from the Julian Dubuque International Film Festival. Later.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Sorry, did not mean to cut your last word off there. You
Oh
there?
yeah, no. I think
Oh,
you've got a you. I think you got a delay over there too.
I
The
do.
whole
I got
thing.
a weird, yeah, I got a weird something going on with audio video of you. Like I keep getting mechanical sounds happening from you as well. Like it's just information coming into my computer. I don't think
Mm.
it's the live stream whatsoever. I don't know. You guys tell us. But I was like trying to like time
Yeah, I
myself
could
better
tell there
today.
were times where I'm like, you're not getting me in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I could tell I was like off. I
Hmm.
was like, cool. Oh, what's the mug of the day? I just saw it go by. Is it a fancy one?
Hmm. No, it's pretty. It's just a little.
I like it.
It's always a hard time trying to show it to you. It's just pretty. I'm
Yeah.
not making candles this week. I'm not making candles next week. I'm not making
No.
candles the week
Y-
after that. No,
Yeah,
after
you
that,
were
I do
you
need to
were
make candles.
you were insanely busy. Like you today, Natalie texted me. Or no, was it last night? I
I
think I was
am
at work.
insanely
I got your
busy.
text. I was in the middle of getting slammed at work.
Just last night.
Yeah, you're like, I'm out of time to do things. It's like, I feel you. I understand. But you are of like less time than
Yeah.
ever before, I think, at this point. It's a crazy, crazy day
I was
or
trying to
weeks.
throw together a wardrobe for yeah, I was trying to throw together a wardrobe for Dubuque and
Hmm.
just ran out of time. That's next
Yeah.
week, but I don't know when I'm hoping that I get to pack somewhere in between. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's the all the festivals you're going to, which is awesome, but it means that there's very little time. And then also just, working and hustling and doing all the usual things. Deborah says, Nellie, I'm so sorry, the Phoenix Film Festival. Ooh, what happened at the Phoenix Film Festival? Were you trying to make it and you didn't make it, Deborah? Which I'm very excited. I can't wait to see Opet on a big screen. again, it's gonna be happening at Dubuque. I don't know our screening or your screening times for that. I feel like there was one that was 1 o'clock,
I know we're
but I think I'm wrong.
Wednesday. It's Screen Block 1. Yeah, I know it's playing on Wednesday at like,
Hmm.
yeah, like 1 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
I don't know.
excited to
We're going to
see it
talk about
again.
promoting our films, and I'm not going to do any of that.
Well, I think it's a little it's challenginger when it's not your film and that you are not the producer on it because you can make bigger, funnier, wilder swings when it's yours. But when you're there to put, like, I ran into this with Miss Brown. Like, I made a bunch of poker chips and I was, all set to hand them out and stuff. But my director was very uncomfortable with it. She's like, I don't want to hand out poker chips. Like, that's okay. You do not have to. It's like, is it okay if I? Because like I have to ask permission to, and I don't own the film. It was owned by a parent company. So like, you suddenly are like, you can't make quite the same decisions when it's not the film that you
Mm-hmm.
own. You have to do more of the Zendaya thing where you're dressing, indicating the movie, kind of like a stay in your lane a little bit. You know what I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know how you would do that with Obit, like how you would dress.
Yeah, it's also
Yeah.
the subject matter makes it a little bit
Subject matter.
hard.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good movie though. I'm excited to see it again. It's been at
Also, I
least a
haven't
year.
seen it, so
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you know what I finally watched the other night too? I watched May I Put You on Hold, finally. It takes me forever to watch
uh-huh.
anything that I'm in. Like, they won't even show me one of the other movies I'm in. They're like, we're just gonna wait. I'm like, that's fine, because I won't watch it. It'll take me weeks to sit down and watch something that
Yeah,
I'm acting in, because I just whatever. I don't know.
I
I
hate it.
thought it turned out really good. Oh, watching yourself, yeah, it's so hard. I feel bad too. I feel like I'm not being a good team player in that I'm getting excited with and for them for the other filmmakers involved, and it takes me like
Mm-hmm.
3 to 4 weeks to watch something I'm acting in because I'm like so terrified that I'm terrible. And like honestly, they fixed some of my acting in the opening. I'm like, oh, thank God. Because I did not like my acting in the early part of, I could tell it'd been a long time since I'd been on camera. And that was the first things I filmed. And like, I don't know what you guys did to fix my acting in the opening, but it is so much better. Thank you so much for making it work. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we did this and that." I was like, "So you agree?" My acting was terrible. Yeah, we swapped out the shot for this and it made all the difference. It's like, and so you agree. So I was hilariously laughing at
Yeah,
myself.
that's
Like,
what I would
but you,
hear. Uh-huh.
yeah, but that's it. I mean, not every take is a winner.
Well,
Uh,
I got in trouble on the set of Obit because they were editing in real time, and every
oh,
time they would
right.
come to one of my scenes, I'd walk out of the room,
Yeah.
and Way, the DP, finally pulled me aside and he was like, "Do you hate it?" And I think I had said, "I can't watch this shit." Like, it's what I said when I left the room.
Oh no, I didn't know you said
So
that.
I
Oh,
understand I
yeah.
understand where the misinterpretation was.
Yes.
However, what I
Oh,
meant was I can't watch my shit.
my shit.
Like,
Yes. Oh, that's
no.
funny. Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's rife with misunderstanding. I'm sure,
I can't watch this
sweet
shit.
little director and editor who are awesome also were just like, "Oh, are we doing bad?" Like, "No, it's not you." I love when they do that though, as a producer. I love the editing in real time. I worked with Ben and Alex on another project where I was just a producer on it. And I'd go over to Alex and I'd watch him editing in real time and I'd be able to like suss out what we need and where we're at and what we can drop in real time, like schedule wise. Like I wish it was always that way. I don't, it's not possible, but and that's mostly because Alex
Hmm.
is an incredibly talented editor. He is just phenomenal. It's that man's brain that makes it possible. I wish it was always that way because sometimes I'm like, did we get it? Do Are we sure we have
Hmm.
every shot we need right now? But
Yeah.
I do see as an actor, I don't think
Well,
I would enjoy that.
no, and I did watch all the scenes that were me and someone else. Like I'd watch
Okay.
like it was soon as it became a scene that was just me, then I was like, I can't be here. I can't Now it
Yeah,
feels weird too
I
because
get it.
everyone else is standing there watching and I'm faking crying on the camera. And then, or I'm having a conversation with myself, an actual, like you're splicing me to me in this thing. And I'm like, I can't be
Yes.
here. Like I am having,
No.
I'm going to have a breakdown if I stay in this room.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, I totally get it. That's a rough one. But I am excited to see it. Like
Yeah.
when I saw it the first time, I was floored. And this was a rough edit of it. I was like, this is so good and you are so good in it. Like it's just a total departure of anything that I've gotten to see you in up to this point. So it was like amazing to watch you do this very serious, not even just like a serious character in a comedy like in May I Put You on Hold, but like a serious film, a serious touching on serious subject matters. Like I know you're doing a lot more of that now with the student films and the films in Utah, but like for me, I was
Yeah.
like, this is it was really fun. So I can't wait to see it again. So I will be cheerleading like a mom in the audience. I know you'll be gripping my hand so hard. It's probably gonna break.
I'm going to have a stiff drink
We
before we walk over there at
yes.
noon. It's going to be, we're going to get done with our podcast that day. There's going to be no credit cookie because we are going to have to jump
Oh, yeah.
on, run over to the thing. But in between, I might just have a flask that's like ready to go
Full support.
down
Whatever
that,
you
and
gotta
then we
do.
can go over there
Full
because
support.
I don't know
What
if I can sit through.
yeah. Whatever you need.
Ben, is that
We'll
the
do
one
it.
that you're not narrating? Are you hosting
Narrating.
that one, Ben, or are you
Yeah.
hosting the other one? I know. Are you narrating that? Are you gonna
Are you
read the whole
narrating
thing?
it? You gonna read it? I love the idea
I
of that.
think Ruth and not Ruth. Yes, Ruth and Dave are doing the other one,
Okay.
but I don't know which one's which. Anyway,
Yeah. It's gonna be a good time. And then
so when
we'd
it's
had this oh, go ahead. We had this running joke about me going up
no
there
no
for the
no no.
Q&A. Like I'm not a part of it at all, but like I just hold your hand to keep you there. Wearing a bunny costume. I'm just a
Yeah,
support rabbit. It's gonna be fine. You're gonna be great.
I'm just a support rabbit. We're gonna
I'm just a
get
support
we
rabbit.
should get a vest for that. We should get a vest for it so it could be your
It says I'm a support Tara.
animal.
And I just wear it to go with you
Just
to
for you.
things.
Not
Just
even in
me.
the bunny suit now, just
No,
for you.
no, it's just
Oh
me
my
as a
gosh.
person. I'm a support human, and like that's why I'm standing here right now. Like I don't, no, don't ask
Oh
me questions. I
no.
don't know anything about anything. Yeah,
Ben, what time is it there? I need to know. There's a lot of information I need to know. This is important stuff. I need to know what time it is right there right now.
right
Because I
now.
keep forgetting what time zone you guys. Are you central?
I think they're
I don't
central, but
remember
I
if they're
might be
central or
wrong.
if they're. I think
I
they're
always,
central or East Coast.
yeah, always want to put them on East Coast, and then I'm always wrong.
Uh-huh.
How many dresses will Natalie wear during the screenings? During the
During
screenings?
screenings.
During screenings.
Okay, you're an hour ahead. Good. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna get
I
done
almost
because our screening's at like 1:30, so we have to
okay.
get done.
We're gonna book it.
Close
We're gonna
computers.
slap that computer
Book it
and
over to 5.
run.
It's only at
Yeah.
5 so.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's not bad. That's not a bad walk. We're not having to
No, it's not.
going to the
I
movie
thought I
theater.
had done
Yeah.
the math, but now I started to panic. Yeah.
Oh no, we'll be good. We'll make it work. Ugh, okay. Any fun things we need to cover before we head out? Because I know you have a lot to do, and I don't wanna bog you down anymore. Anything else fun we need to cover?
No.
No. Excellent. Nothing
Nothing
else to
fun.
promote.
I'm just kidding.
Nothing fun.
I don't
Cool.
think so.
All right. Join us next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also next week, because we're at a film festival, we're going to be doing a lot more live postings and stuff like that. So check out our Instagram account for all you warriors out there. Our Instagram's going to have stuff going on. I'm going to do my best to post as much as possible on our Instagram account and maybe the TikTok, what's going on, what we're doing, all the fun stuff in real time, because then I'll forget later to post it later, and then I'll find the photos 3 years later and go, oh hey, I should post this great photo of us that I never posted. That's what happens to me.
Wait,
All right.
before you post any photos,
Yes.
run them by me because I might be wearing that dress again this week. So
Oh, you're
I'm
making
having-
a really
I'm
good
having to-
point.
I'm having to rehash old sweater dresses because we go to this festival every year.
Yep. Good.
So before you post any
I will run old photos by you from now on.
Thank you.
We've run out of wardrobe, guys.
There's at least one. There's one dress that has to make a reappearance, and there's one from Gig Harbor that's making a
Okay.
reappearance because I have to
Got
run
it.
out of clothes and time.
In time. In time. Cool. All right. All right, guys. Thank you. We'll see you all next week. You're the best.
Bye bye.